Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with the Simpler Stocks free video for April 29, 2016. As you see, it's about 44 minutes before the bell. Wanted to get this out early because on Simpler Stocks, I usually get on the chat right now and I go through here and we go over unusual option activity. Now, different days have different things. Today, there was a ton to do on the opening, which I'll get to in a minute. But this is the whole deal. This morning, Amazon, Google, Facebook went nuts on the opening because everybody said that, Facebook's earnings were just the best thing since sliced bread. Because of that, it looked like the NASDAQ this morning was going to try to get up above the 4440 level. If that happened, at least it would keep this divergence from being so blatant. Now look on the right and look on the left. Late day in here, we have the NASDAQ now under this 4400 level. As you see, down 55 points. Russell down 11, and yet the ES is still holding in there, at least for now. This becomes a huge deal. Let me show you why. Look at this. Not only have we crossed the ATR trailing stop, and we've had a moving average crossover, but now we're under every single moving average. On the other hand, the ESs are 80 points above doing the same thing. Very curious in there. So very interested to see what happens in here. Just to give you an idea of what we're looking at in here, if you put in a 195, it becomes more blatant. Look at the ESs on the left. Look at the NQs on the right. You can see the NQs totally falling out of bed here. What did they do? Broke 4,400. And like I said on the premium video last night, let's see what happens when they get near the 4440 level, if they can get above it, and it failed miserably. Now look on the left. You have the ESs. Better hold this 2074 level. To me, you could draw it a little more creative. You can draw it like this, maybe like this, but more like this. Make this a little in head and shoulders. That projects about 23 points, gets you right to this 2050, 2060 level. That could be a first stop. Now, a bunch of things happened on the opening today. On the premium chat, we made a lot of money in different trades. Here are a couple of them we did. Number one, let me unlink this so you could get an idea. Number one, Cabela's. Lousy earnings. If I can get Thinkorswim to work. Lousy earnings. Stocks in already looking for ways to maximize shareholder value. Anytime with lousy earnings, when it sells off right to support, you got to just run in and buy it. So we bought it right here and sold it right here. That was a good one. Number two, Potash. Every time Potash comes up with bad earnings when it's near its 52-week low, you got to buy it on the opening. Under 17, went to over 18. Let me actually put this on a 5-minute. You get a more dramatic thing. There you go. 1688, 1820. Amazing move. We bought AGU. AGU has a better dividend. We bought it around 85.20. Sold it in here about 86.20. Other one, Priceline, came out with a little bit of a scandal where their CEO had to resign. We were talking about buying the opening in there. Look where it opened. 13.30, went up 20 points. Another good one in here. We had one after another. Then, just so you know, on Simpler Options, something else I showed them was Google. I showed last night, we had a thing on a free webinar on the ATR trailing stop. To give you an idea, this is what it looked like in here, right here. ATR trailing stop. I've done a webinar on it before, but I was showing how to use it in a day trading environment. Well, let me show you the best way to use it that worked just to perfection today. On the right, I'm going to take off a lot of the studies. We're going to take off the moving average crossover. We're going to take off the 49, the 200. And I want you to see this in here. The second Google broke under here on a 5-minute, that was it. It's gone down 17 points since then. Actually, I'm a terrible subtractor. Not really, but it actually went down 14 points. Very impressive. Other thing in here, if you ever want to learn to time Google, take it on a 5-minute on the left and realize this is a head and shoulders or some kind of facsimile of it. Measure this then, 728, 722, 6 points. 6 points gets you minimum 716. You don't have to make that extra amount. You would have made it because there was never a time to get back out once it crossed the ATR trailing stop. But I'm just saying that's the minimum expectation. Worked great. We were talking on simpler options about Amazon getting pulled up by Facebook today and not being surprised if the stock ended unchanged for the day. It was up 15 points. It's now unchanged. Unbelievable on how that works. Let me see if I can get the quotes to work, and will be dangerous. So give me a second in here. I'm watching on a different screen, and both of them Thinkorswim went down. But the whole idea is Amazon did this. You're going to have to trust me on this one, sort of like buying land in the Everglades. Stock did this. Right like this, and then just broke down. Let's see if now it'll work. Right there, that's what I wanted you to see. The second it broke there, it was on its way down. It broke the ATR trailing stop and worked to perfection. If you ever think of shorting these stocks and you're not comfortable, go to even a shorter time frame, a 2-minute. Look at Amazon on a 2-minute. You would have gotten in here. You might have gotten stopped out a little. That's why I put up a 2 and a 5. But for Google was the one I cared about because Google already had earnings, and that one worked fantastic and went down, like I said, 14 points. What do I think for the next couple of days? Number one, ESs. Still have this in here where I have to think that this is going to catch up with the NASDAQ. You have to think that the NASDAQ on the right is going to do the same thing. The NASDAQ down here, and if you zoom out, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's where it was March 14th. Zoom out on the left, and I think you see March 14th gets you right to 2,000. So this becomes a big deal if this NASDAQ can't hold here. Everybody's worrying tonight about Amazon and LinkedIn's earnings. If they can't bring this NASDAQ up, remember, this is what I thought all along that I published on the simpler stocks. 44, 47, this is about 100 points, gets you to 43.50. We're almost there. So we'll see if that works. Like you know, we have a $7 30-day trial. We've had a ton of people this month sign up for it because a lot of our picks intraday on the live chat have been working great. So I hope you can take advantage of that. Like I said, that includes the chat room, includes the forum, and includes nightly videos that are a little more intense than this. So everybody take care. I hope you have a great night.